Hello and welcome back to the Championship Rounds channel. Today we're doing something a little bit different. We've decided to do a lot more shorter form videos that aren't sort of part of the podcast. They're more sort of information and news based rather than sort of opinion based like the podcast is. Um, So yeah, this episode we'll be doing the British Boxing Border Control Circular. So if you're not interested in British boxing, click off because this is going to be a lot of British boxing talk. Um, but yeah, there's a lot of stuff we don't talk about on the podcast that obviously we could, that we probably should, but there's a lot of lack of motivation from boxing at the moment. But yeah, we can do short form videos just to tell you what's happening, really. Um, So yeah, we'll sort of do one sort of British boxing circular every month, maybe a little bit of the European titles every month. Um, then sort of sanctioning body ranking, WBO, WBA, IBF, um, WBC, obviously. Ring rankings updates, uh, TBRB rankings updates, stuff like that. Maybe a monthly schedule, whatever you want, really, whatever we can think of doing, whatever we have the time to do, we'll do. Sort of a 10-15 minute long video, maybe a bit less. But yeah, it's not always going to be all of us, not always going to be me. It might be Taj one week, might be Dan one week doing it. But yeah, we'll have a couple of these out every so often just to sort of supplement the podcast episodes. So enough of me talking rubbish. We'll get right into the actual stuff you're here for. This is why you clicked on the video. We will go right into the British Boxing Board of Control Circular for the month of October 2025. So firstly, these are the British titles at heavyweight. Jamie TKV Fraser Clark, the above contest promoted by Ben Shalom, will not take place on the 25th of October, like it says here. Jamie TKV got injured this week or whenever it was, so that's been pushed back to November the 29th. Same undercard, I believe. There might be a few changes because it is a bit away now. But yeah, same venue in Derby. For the vacant British heavyweight title, obviously, Adelaide Habit beat TKV controversially. Then vacated it to fight Hrgovic. Clark obviously lost to Fabio Wardley last year. Has a loss and a draw last year to Fabio Wardley, then came back and beat Ebenezer Tete in a round. So yeah, that's a decent little fight to kick off the Boxer and BBC deal. Cruiserweight, Vidal Riley against Alois Jr. Riley, after a stop-start career, beat Chev Clark for the title on the Eubank Ben 1 undercard. Alois Jr. coming off a lackluster performance against Eddie Soro. Really wasn't very good in that fight, but got a decision. Some thought he lost it. They tried to make that fight earlier this year when Junior actually fought Zoro, I believe, for that date. But didn't happen. Depending on who you ask, people have different sort of stories as to why it didn't happen. But now it's been ordered. Vidal Riley's a promotional free agent after leaving Ben Shalom. It looks like he's going to go to Matchroom, but who knows? It's not a done deal till it's a done deal. So that's been sent to purse bids. The deadline's the 12th of November for the fight to take place before the end of February next year. So yeah, good little fight. Light heavyweight now, Lewis Edmondson against Ezra Taylor. That fight is on the Fabio Wardley against Joseph Parker undercard at the O2 on the 25th of October. Edmondson won the title against Dan Aziz in a fight quite a few people thought he lost. I just thought it was a terrible fight all round, to be honest, and there was no real winner in that fight, and he got the decision, so was what it was. Yeah, Ezra Taylor's 31, not really stepped up quickly. Like he's had a weird career. Had a competitive fight, but clear win against Coleman earlier this year, I believe. Um, it's a 50-50 fight, but it's one of those fights for me. I'm getting into a bit of a breakdown for this fight here, but I can't see it being a good fight. It's competitive on paper, and the odds are close, and I don't know who's going to win. But I think it's going to be quite a boring decision. Super middleweight, Callum Simpson's the champion. Yeah, we might talk about him in the European section. We'll do that now, actually. He's been ordered to fight Kevin Lele Sadro by the EBU. Sadro's promoters in France won that purse bid for €15,000. Sadro then pulled out of the fight to go and fight Diego Pacheco, and now the EBU have ordered Callum Simpson to defend his title against Hans Shiraz. So the British and Commonwealth titles, if he still has the Commonwealth title, will be on the line for that fight. Should he fight Shiraz? You'd assume. But it's a question of would he fight Shiraz or will that Shiraz fight come off? I'm sure Simpson would. It's the biggest fight for Simpson out there. But I'm not sure Shiraz will fight Simpson, not because he's ducking, but because he's got Turkey's backing. He's just come off a Berlanga fight. And he can probably go and target someone like Billy or Lester Martinez. Or there's plenty of super middleweights in the world for Hamza Shiraz to fight who are a lot more commercially viable and do a lot more for his career than Callum Simpson. So I don't think that fight will happen. I think what you'd end up seeing is Shiraz fighting early next year on a ring card or a Riyadh card or whatever you want to call it against someone like Billy. And then I think you'll see Simpson defending his British title and European title against someone like Troy Williams, and I think that fight's been rumoured. Obviously, Williams just won the English title, so I think that'll be a fight they make. And Simpson's just way too big for Troy Williams, so he'll win that fight as well. Middleweight, Kieran Conway's defending against George Liddard. Conway just won the title. He's been a solid domestic operator, Conway, at a level for years now. I remember watching him it was one of the boxer tournaments back when boxers used to do 3-round tournaments back in like 2019, I think it was. He lost to Derek Osaze over 3 rounds. But yeah, he's been a solid domestic guy for years. Liddard, the unbeaten prospect. That's taken place today as you're watching this, actually, at your call. Really good fight, 50-50 fight. I think Conway's a bit too experienced, though. But yeah, that's happening. Shakur Thompson against P.A. Gordon. That's eliminator for the British title. Purse bids on the 12th of November for the fight to take place before the end of February 2026. People keep pulling out of eliminators against Shakur Thompson. He's a bit of a no-name, but he's a very good fighter, unbeaten kid. Unfortunately, doesn't have the sort of political backing. He's with Izzy Asif and GBM Sport. It's not really a big promoter in the UK, unfortunately, for him. He's a good little fighter. I think he can definitely win a British at some point. And he should beat P.A. Gordon. Super welterweight, Sam Gilly against Ismail Davis. That's happening on the Eubank Ben 2 undercard in November. Sam Gilly has been in some great domestic fights. You just need to go and watch Taj's channel for that. But yeah, great domestic fights. And Ismail Davis somehow keeps getting these fights. I mean, fair play to him. He's stepping up to the plate constantly. He's constantly getting in fights, but he's lost 3 on the bounce. Technically, going by the board rules, he shouldn't be getting a British title fight coming off 3 losses, but it's what it is. Yeah, he's in fun fights, Davis, in fairness. But yeah, they're both 2 kids of a level, and that's British level, which is why it's for the British title. Conor Walker, he's going to fight Pat McCormack in December, but that's in Monaco, and I don't know if the board will let the title be on the line for that. Who knows? Who knows? So yeah, but that's the what's happening at welterweight. Jack Rafferty is fighting Kay Prosper. Jack Rafferty coming off a really, really fun fight with Mark Chamberlain. They drew. People thought they might rematch, but obviously not happening. Kay Prosper just beat Mickey Sakai at Yorko, I believe, on a good win show. Lost to Sandor Martin years ago and all the way back in 2016, was beaten by a certain operator called Raheem Noble. So yeah, that's going to be on a Frank Warren show. Might be the December card in Manchester because Rafi is from that area and does tickets there. Bradley Townsend's fighting Billy Ellington in the eliminator for that title on a Nielsen show. And El Gainer is fighting Mikey Lee Broughton on a top tier show in November in an eliminator. Maybe one of those gets to fight Rafferty or they fight each other. I don't know. But yeah, who knows? Louis O'Doherty's just won the British lightweight title against Regan Glack in the vacant title. Who knows who knows what he's going to do next? He's signed with Queensbury now. So yeah, who knows? Ryan Garner has got the super featherweight title. Just beat Reece Bellotti for it. There's no action taken with him. Reese Edwards is fighting Gully Power for the vacant British title at featherweight. On a Ben Shalom show, I think that'll be in December. Gully Power just lost in the WBC Grand Prix. Reese Edwards has been a mainstay on boxer shows. Beat Thomas Asomba, I believe, a few months back. But yeah, Zach Miller's just vacated that title. So yeah, what can you do? It's a decent little domestic fight. The vacant British title at super bantamweight, McGregor is fighting Masood. A similar case to the Pat McCormack against Conor Walker fight. That fight's in Monaco, so who knows if the board are going to let the title be on the line for that if it's not on one of their shows. They should do, really, but who knows? But, well, you could also say that fight should be in Britain, but that's another story. Bantamweight, Andrew Kane has been ordered to fight Joshua John. That's going to Perth Spit on the 12th of November, take place before February 2026. I don't think that fight happens. Kane, there's nothing bantamweight for him. Yeah, at British level, he's practically done all he can at British level. Beat Charlie Edwards. Where do you really go from there? He was ordered to fight a WBC eliminator against one of the Mexicans in their rankings, I believe, Andrew Kane. So I don't know what happens to that. But I think he'll go the international route rather than defending the British. He'll vacate the British, I believe. Super flyweight Brandon Deward is the holder. I don't know what's happening there. Jack Turner I think that fight might happen. They're both from Liverpool. Just makes sense maybe for Nick Bourne on the card next year. Yeah, that's super flyweight. And then flyweight's vacant and there's nobody wanting to fight for it. So make of that what you will. But yeah, that's the British titles. I'll quickly run through the English titles. There's not a lot going on. You can see all the holders. Heavyweight vacant. So Lakers vacated it. Cruiserweight John Hedges. Light heavy Zach Shelley. Super middle Troy Williamson. Middleweight Jimmy Science defends against Troy Coleman tonight at your call. Super welterweight Bilal Fawaz just beat Janae Boston for it. Robert Dalton is fighting Joel Kadua on the Clark against Teak Heavy undercard. Travis Walters is next mandatory. Al Gainer is fighting Mike Lee Broughton, and we mentioned that earlier, as a British eliminator, but that's also for the English title. Anton Haskins is fighting Kurt Jackson for the vacant lightweight title. That's been sent to purse bids. Ibrahim Deem against Naman Hussein. That's the Steve Wood show for the vacant title at Super Feather. 22nd of November in Bolton. Ryan Griffiths against Lewis Morris, the vacant featherweight title. Errol Johnson is pushing an eliminator for that fight. I don't know why that's an eliminator when the title's vacant, but who knows? Super bantamweight Niall Berry's the holder. Bantamweight Piotr Mergra against Joshua Babb for the vacant title on a top tier show at Yorkle. Super flyweight vacant. Flyweight Hamza Rudin is just beating Paul Roberts for that title on the Eddie Hearn show. So yeah, that's the titles that you've got. at British level. So yeah, like I said earlier, we'll be doing these sorts of videos once a month for the British titles when the circulars come out. Other types of videos like rankings and stuff you mentioned before, or I mentioned before. Sorry, I'm so used to saying we on these videos, but yeah. Thank you for listening to this, me rambling on for 10, 15 minutes. Um, yeah, and hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully you made it this far, and yeah, thank you for watching.